thank you so much for joining us today, Sandy, and thank you very, very much for having us on your just absolutely spectacular property. It's incredible what you've put together.
Thank you, Yvette.
The
You're
vision
welcome.
that you must have, and then I love the fact that the partnership with yourself and Rob, for him to understand your vision and then bring it all to life, is just a beautiful partnership. So thank you so much for having us here.
Well, thank you, Yvette. I think it's been, I call it serendipity. And that's what I find so amazing with this journey that we're on. Sometimes things aren't planned, and I'm a firm believer that what you put out, you get back tenfold. Yes. And most definitely, we're living the dream, living the passion. And 5 years ago, it was very different in that we were working towards this. But yeah, it's lovely, and it's so lovely to have the community and interact with people, and that's the biggest thing that I found is the diversity of people, and it's very warming, and you've got your own tribe, and people want to feel part of a community these days. Very
true, absolutely. In this overly connected in one way world, but it's very disconnected in another. So you bring that together beautifully. I wonder how, you said you've had this vision for some time, and I think even from a child that you said earlier that you've had this vision for that long to have an accommodation style place. How have you kept that going for so long?
Well, that's really interesting because, as I said to you a little bit earlier, I just had a couple of people that have come over from Christchurch that are rose growers and wanting to see the area and seeing that the area is so rich with flower farmers and the connectedness with nature that we have in the Dalesford-Macedon region. And I grew up on the coast in just outside of Wellington in the North Island, but spent every childhood in Christchurch, which is the garden city in New Zealand. And my grandmother had roses and hydrangeas and crab apples, and she lived near big parks. And we had peonies, and we had a lot of what we can now grow in our region because we're cool climate here. So I had always, there was something magical about going down and playing as a child. While my grandmother would have cups of tea with her friends, I'd be out discovering the flowers and picking flowers and making little bouquets. And so, that was really my safe place. It was gentle. It was magical.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So you've always had that connection with nature.
Yes.
And now you've brought that in, and now you're sharing it with others in such a beautiful way and in multiple ways as well. So not just being able to come here and visit and stay and just take in everything and every ounce of detail that you've incorporated, I think you just absolutely need to be commended for.
Oh,
Everywhere you look is just a moment of beauty. It really is, and it's so beautifully put together. But even more so, bringing in your flower therapy workshops as well, which is just such a beautiful thing, and I think ties in so nicely with everything that we do at Bloom College as well. So I think there's just so much synergy in what we do together. It's incredible.
Absolutely. And the flower therapy, I mean, it hinges on. I suffer from anxiety that I have had for a while, and the garden and gardening and flowers and nature absolutely are my calm, soothing point. Yes. And walking the talk with regards to that, there are some moments that it's really hard because life is very stressful, and I see that with all of the guests that come and the participants in the workshops as well. And I know the benefits of being able to come outside if things are a bit stressful and walk amongst the roses, watch the bees, watch the butterflies, and I'm calmer for going through and do that. And I go, well, if you're living in the middle of a city and it's a concrete jungle, where do you go to get that, And we are just an hour away, so we're not so much more removed that you can't go and do it. And I think the combination also is that I'm partway through a certificate in forest bathing, forest therapy, and when you understand the science of what goes on when you go into a forest and the canopy and the negative and positive ions and the effect that the polyphenols have on the brain and the stress management and release, you then can see that being associated with flowers as well. So I just feel that, if you ask any gardener, if they can't go out and garden and over the winter they're just absolutely pacing the floors for spring to come to get out there and absolutely, go for it. And there's something about the ability to tend to something and watch it grow that I think is really magical. But it's been a learning curve for me as well. Like I've had the vision, but come from a corporate background, and also been into business management consulting. And the one thing that the last 4 or 5 years has taught me is that there is no greater CEO or chairman than Mother Nature.
Yes.
I think that if people with their gap years spent it on in agriculture or horticulture, they would then understand what it really takes to run a business. Because there's no, I can't be out there today, I'm too tired, or I'm sick today, Mother Nature, I can't get there. She doesn't care. She'll just blast on through anyway. And I think it makes it builds resilience, because even now, it looks like we're going to have a challenging spring. We've lost more roses. We're biting the bullet now. Climate change has had an impact over the last 5 years.
Okay.
And we're going to have to hoop because of the changing weather patterns. But again, it's about learning new skills and adapting. And I think they're skills that can be transcended into all walks of life.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. And the patience of knowing that, winter is a stagnant period, but actually underneath the surface, there's a lot going on.
Masses.
And so that patience, we do live in this instant now life. And so I think, yes, as you say, the seasons and gardens, we can just learn so much from.
I agree, and it's interesting because from a social media perspective, obviously flowers and gardens, you know that when you put up a floral bouquet or a bucket of flowers, people are going to absolutely be attracted to it. But I think there's also the danger with social media that you can become so addicted. So I know that there is a bit of a movement in regards to trying to get a little bit of a balance.
Yes.
And put up the pretty pictures, but also go out and physically connect, which is something you can't do behind a screen.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Well, thank you so much for having us, and thank you
welcome.
for your absolutely stunning homegrown lily of the valley. They're absolutely
I'm very proud of those this
stunning.
year.
Yes, I will
Thank you
enjoy
so much,
those.
Yvette, and thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Sandy. Well, make sure you get to Acre of Roses, whether it's for a digital detox, although I think you will find it very difficult not to use your camera in this picture-perfect environment. Enjoy.